And now, Lifestyles Unlimited presents the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Over the next hour, we unfold your map to financial freedom. You'll learn how to retire through investing in single-family and multifamily real estate. You'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth so you can have the time and money to live the lifestyle you want.
Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. I'm Mike Harrison. Yes, we're always working on your financial freedom. It's my privilege to be joining you today. Today, I'm going to get into a discussion on the many benefits of passive income. Some of these benefits, I bet many of you have not even considered, but they're out there. I know we have a lot of new listeners. And the reason Dale Walmsley founded Lifestyles Unlimited and the Lifestyles Unlimited Radio Network, primarily to give back the knowledge that allowed him to retire at the ripe old age of 34. So he started teaching this information and passing it on, and eventually I found Lifestyles Unlimited, and it changed my life. Is retirement an age? No. And I know most of you, if you're like me, you've been told your whole life, well, you retire when you're 65. That's when you retire. No, retirement is a financial condition. Real retirement is having continuous, repetitive, passive income that exceeds your financial obligations. It's not a bag of money that you saved up your whole life and you pull a little bit out of that money, and eventually the bag of money gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you hope that you pass away before you take your last dollar out of it. No, that's no way to retire. The way to retire is repetitive, passive income that exceeds your obligations. And let me stress those words, exceeds, right? You want more than you need. That's true financial freedom, but that exceeds part allows you to continue to invest and grow and further the cash flow snowball. And we talk a lot about passive income on this show. And if you're a new listener, this is how we become financially free. Now, is passive income just a word we throw around? No, it's actually a recognized type of income by no less than the Internal Revenue Service, right? We all know who the IRS is. The IRS has always got their hand in our pocket, but the IRS defines income, and then they tax that income, and they tax it differently. So the three types of income that the IRS recognizes, well, we all know the first one. We call that active income, often known as W-2 income. It's called W-2 income because that's the form the employer really sends regarding the employee, sends it to the IRS, the employer sends it to the IRS, and it's a report. It's really your wage and tax statement, right? Here's how much I paid employee number 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's how much we withheld in taxes of this particular employee, and that report sent to the IRS. And then every April you get to settle up. You either paid too much or too little, and that's what that statement is for. Now, by the way, W-2 income, that's where you have a job, right? That's where an employer is compensating you. It just so happens to be the most taxed of all income, right? Remember, there's three types, and the IRS doesn't treat all three types the same. They treat them different, and they punish W-2 income, right? The one you work the hardest at gets punished the most, right? Story of our life. So you get the federal income tax, and that's based on how much you make. It could be up to 37%. The current administration has already said he will allow the previous tax cuts to expire, so he wants to raise your taxes. There's also Medicare tax that's put on that, and it's a flat rate, essentially. So you pay half, and the employer pays the other half. And then we're not done taxing W-2 income. Oh, yeah, there's Social Security tax, right? It's another 12.4%. Again, you're going to pay half, and the employer is going to pay half. So if you want to call it 6.2%. Now, are we done taxing W-2? Oh, by no means are we done. No, we're not done. Certain states and certain cities have additional taxes on top of that, right? I think California's got 13%, something like that. Don't send me an email, but there's additional state and local taxes depending on where you live. Many states have a state income tax as well. Some don't, but some do. And then there are certain cities that actually have taxes on top of it. So you may have that W-2 job and think you're doing great, and depending on where you live, you might be paying 60% or more to the federal government, to Uncle Sam. I've often said that Uncle Sam is the biggest hindrance to your wealth growth. Well, a big part of that is if your W-2 income, Uncle Sam is going to tax that income the most, and you, worker, get to keep the rest, whatever's left over. Now, the second kind of income, we're going to call that portfolio income, and that's stocks, bonds, royalties. Now, portfolio income is not subject to Social Security or Medicare taxes. Now, the third type of income, my favorite kind, drum roll please, passive income. Passive income. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's earnings derived from rental property, partnerships, but really it's derived from an enterprise where you're not actively involved. In fact, most instances, you cannot be involved as to how this investment is being run. You're really participating in it financially, right? So it's passive income. It's not active income. Now, it is taxable, but it's treated much, much different. If you own rental property, you can depreciate that rental property. It's a business against the income. So the advantages are numerous, very numerous. I mean, I could talk at will on how great the tax advantages are, at least through real estate when creating passive income. But really, it's passive income, if you're going to use it as a technical term, it's net rental income or income, again, from a business in which the taxpayer does not materially participate. And that's a good thing, right? You just want to invest and you just want to get paid. You know what passive income is? Let me make it even simpler. If you didn't go to your job tomorrow or next week or the next month or the next year, but you still got paid, then you have passive income coming in, right? You don't have W-2 income because you're not working. But if you're still getting paid once a month, once a quarter, making money essentially in your sleep, that's passive income. Now, I will tell you this, when I joined Lifestyles Unlimited, I went there to get an education about how to buy and own rental properties. And I had owned a rental property. I owned one that was paid all cash because it was my belief that the only way you really got paid is if that house was paid for. I didn't even know that you could still have a mortgage on a rental property and still get passive income. I had no idea. There were so many things that I learned when I joined Lifestyles Unlimited. So I didn't even know about passive income, and I didn't join Lifestyles Unlimited for the passive income. I learned how to go manage and own rental properties, but everything else I learned was it was icing on the cake. But passive income, in case you missed it, is the least taxed of all types of income. Listen to me here. This is important. Just got my taxes done for last year. And I will tell you this. The year before, it was in single digits, okay? Single digits. This year, it was in single digits. So if all my income was W-2 income, listen to this, my tax rate would be 37%, okay? 37% of everything I earned. But that's not all. We would throw Social Security tax on top of that. There's an additional 6.2%. We would throw Medicare taxes on top of that. There's an additional 1.45%. So really an additional 7.65% on top of the 37%. My tax rate would be 44.65%. Are you hearing me? If I had a W-2 job. But my income is passive income. And because of the way we structure it, my taxable percentage of income was in the single digits. If it was W-2 income, my effective tax rate would be 700% more, right? 700% more. I would have paid 7 times the taxes. So when I talk about tax advantages with real estate, are you picking up what I'm putting down? I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. If you invest in real estate for no other reason than the tax advantages, you are doing yourself a favor. Although the good news is there's 5 ways we make money on a single family property. Only one of those is the tax advantage. But I wanted to drive home just because I did my taxes this year, and it was in the single digits, okay? So taxes, very, very important, and the advantages are all in your favor in real estate. How often do you get to say, wow, the advantages are in my favor? Well, by investing in real estate, the advantages are in your favor. Now back to passive income, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not here to talk about the tax benefits, although they're tremendous. I want to mention a guy named Warren Buffett, probably the greatest investor in our lifetime, maybe the greatest investor of all time. But Warren Buffett, very wise man, he said, never depend on a single source of income. And he also said the key to staying wealthy is reducing the vulnerability of your income to economic pressures. So the more sources you have, the merrier. What he's talking about is, again, if you have nothing but W-2 income, in corporate America, they're great until the minute they're not, decides that they're going to lay off thousands of people because they missed their numbers by 3%. Well, you lost your only source of income. So what Warren Buffett's talking about, he's talking about having multiple sources of income. This is why we talk about having passive income, right? You can grow the passive income while you're still working, right? And you could build that up. And then once your passive income meets or exceeds your financial obligations, then you have attained financial freedom. But really, what Warren Buffett's saying, and I'm saying it as well, never depend on a single source of income. I have multiple sources of income, and those are my multiple real estate investments. Now, that income allows me, and it allowed me, the opportunity to buy my life back one piece at a time, right? I started slow. 1 rent home, then 2 rent homes, then 3 rent homes, then 5 rental properties, then 10 rental properties. But at first, it was an extra $400 per month, and then it was an extra $800 per month, and then it was an extra $1,000 per month. Eventually, it was extra several thousand a month, but it was slow hauling. But that's what gave me the ability to buy my life back one piece at a time. We call that chunking. We're going to continue passive income on the other side.
Got questions? Call Lifestyles Unlimited at 855-497-4335. The Real Estate Investor Radio Show continues next.
Lifestyles Unlimited member Chad on the life-changing rewards of real estate investing.
Whenever you have residents coming in thanking you for taking what was dull and drab and turning it around, making their lives better, that's definitely a blessing.
Become a life changer today with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297. A 60% off savings. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
Creating the lifestyle you've always wanted. You're hearing Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome back to the show. I'll throw my email address out one more time. If you've got any questions for me, I'm here to help. My email address is askmike@luinc.com. We're talking about the many, many benefits of passive income, and I want to go into what passive income can do for you. Passive income is the whole reason why we invest in real estate. But passive income, number one, passive income will make your life less stressful. It absolutely will. The worries and the concerns, and we get hit with bills, right? My daughter's vehicle just had to have a repair. It was a couple $1,000s. Things like that happen. Life get in the way, but I don't stress over it, right? I'm not happy about paying $2,000 unexpectedly, but that's life, right? It happens. So passive income will make your life less stressful. It will help you improve your personal relationships, right? I just know that finances are one of the top 3 reasons for divorce, and that's horrible, right? So one way to improve your relationship with your spouse is to have financial stability. That's what passive income can do. Here's another one. Passive income can rescue you from your 401k or your IRA. Now, let me explain this one. When I was in corporate America, I strived to hit that 15 to 20% of my monthly take home to the 401k or IRA, because this is what I was told, that you must feed that 401k. You must feed it, and you must feed it well, at least 20% of your take home. If you didn't start when you're in your 20s, you've got some catching up to do because you're going to need that amount of money at the end to have a dignified retirement. Well, lo and behold, I became a real estate investor. I became educated and effective by my Lifestyles Unlimited education, and I realized I don't need that 401k anymore. That 401k never paid me. All I did was pay it. And so I got rid of my 401k. I know some of you are shaking listening to me right now, but it was one of the best things I ever did. And I put that money to work for me. So A, I don't have a 401k, but B, when I did, it was that 401k was taking more money than anything else in my life. It was taking more money than my mortgage. It was taking more money, God knows, that we spent on family vacations. I mean, the 401k was taking a big chunk of our income, and the rest was left to divvy up. Well, obviously you got taxes, but the rest was left to divvy up amongst us as a family. It didn't go very far. So passive income can rescue you from that 401k. Now, here's another one. What can passive income allow you to do? It can allow you to give, right? The ability to give. If you don't have enough to give, you don't have enough. And that's time, that's money, that's energy, that's knowledge, right? You can't give knowledge if you don't have knowledge. So it really frees you up and allows to give. And that's really, really a good reason. Now, another reason I came up with, I'm going to tell you, and this happened to me personally, passive income is really insurance against financial calamities, right? Against financial calamities. Those things that pop up, boom, you got the passive income. Let's cover it and move on down the road. Let's not even sweat it. All right, so that's passive income. But let's go into bankruptcy causes, right? There's a cause and effect here. Bankruptcy causes, obviously, income loss, job loss. That's one of the primary reasons. Second reason, high medical expenses caused by a disability or illness, right? So when I was talking about the financial calamities, passive income is insurance against financial calamities. Passive income, that's a financial calamity. When you have high medical expenses, or God forbid, you're stricken with some horrible disease or disability, if you've got the money to take care of it, it's going to be better, right? You're going to be able to treat that condition. Another reason for common reasons of bankruptcy, an unaffordable mortgage or other debts, right? In Texas, it seems our property taxes and insurance go up every year. So contrary, the mortgage goes up every year. You never really pay your house off. You owe property taxes and insurance. Obviously, spending beyond one's means, poor financial management, right? We discussed that. That's a big cause of bankruptcy, is people just don't have financial competence. And we don't teach it in school, unfortunately. It's not always, it's someone's just ignorant to how money works. They're going to get in trouble, and that's sad. But we should teach this more at every level of education. Everybody should have passive income in their life. Now, it doesn't take long to put it together. You need to be educated, and we use real estate to create that passive income, but you can do it. Even if it was just an extra $150 a month, an extra $200 a month, an extra $300, $400, $500 a month, whatever that is, it's not necessarily the money. The money gives you freedom, and you can use that toward your financial obligations. But it's just once you get that first one, you've kind of conquered that step, right? You've done it. And now you have the ability, the knowledge, and the means to go do that again and repeat and do it over and over. But we use real estate. The power of real estate really is that all the advantages are in your favor. There's the multitude of advantages within passive income come by owning cash flowing real estate, right? Obviously, the cash flow, we buy distressed properties so that essentially we make money as soon as we fix that property up, right? You buy a property and it's valued at one price. You go in there and fix everything. And when the appraiser comes, it's valued at a higher price than you bought it. It's nice. We call that an equity capture. Mortgage pay down. Imagine owning an asset where you don't even pay the mortgage. The resident does, right? The person renting the property pays you and you pay the mortgage. So mortgage pay down. It adds up. It's like $300-$400 a house each and every month. You have 5 of those. That's an extra $2,000. Again, it's unrealized. It's in your sleep, but it is your net worth. You'll have that money at some point when you turn that property. And tax advantages. The tax advantages, like I said, are tremendous. My taxable income is in the single digits. If it was all W-2 income, I would be paying something like 44% once you put Medicare and Social Security in there. It would not be good. I mean, if Uncle Sam's taking all your money, then what, right? It's not good. You're just scrimping and saving and getting by. But we at Lifestyles Unlimited didn't invent real estate or real estate methods. These are strategies that have been around for hundreds upon hundreds of years. It's just contemporary society wants to teach you to be a worker and not an investor, right? Not an entrepreneur, not an owner. They want to teach you to be a worker. So a lot of this stuff gets buried. I know I didn't learn it in school, and I thought I was financially savvy. Warren Buffett, never depend on a single source of income. I agree with you, Warren. But don't be upset if you were not aware of passive income. I know I wasn't upset. And like I said, I thought I was financially savvy, discovered Lifestyles Unlimited, went to Lifestyles Unlimited. I owned a rental property, okay? Prior to joining, I owned a rental property. And I knew in the back of my mind that there was something there, right? I've got to figure this out. I've got to do better at this. That was really my retirement plan. I was going to buy one house, all cash, and then maybe 6 or 7 years later, I can buy a second house, and then eventually, right, you're doubling up. And I thought by the time I was 65, if I can have anything from anywhere from like 8 to 10 houses paid off, then that would be a great retirement. That plan will work. I'm just telling you, that's not a very effective plan. So I joined Lifestyles Unlimited, and I mean, it blew my socks off, the stuff I learned. I was like, wait, you can have a mortgage and still get paid? I thought the only way to really get paid on a rental property is to have it 100% paid off, and that's not true. And I didn't even know what passive income was. I didn't understand it. It wasn't defined for me. So that, again, knocked my socks off. But people, don't be upset if you don't know, if you've never heard of passive income. I didn't. I was in my 40s once I finally learned. But people fall into 3 categories that don't know, that haven't learned about passive income, right? They don't know. That was me. They don't understand it, or they're afraid of it, right? There's a lot of people out there that know they want to go buy a rental property and create passive income. However, at the same time, there's fear, right? They have an okay life or they have a good life, and for whatever reasons, and they're false, people view real estate investing as some sort of treacherous, dangerous, kind of carefree, fly-by-night investing, right? They're putting it in the same category as someone who goes and buys crypto. Nothing could be further from the truth. So those are really the 3 categories, right? They're afraid. They have some preconceived notions. They don't understand it, right? I defined it. It's an actual type of income the IRS defines, or they don't know what it is, or a combination of that. But I was really in that first camp. I'd never heard of it until really I got involved with Lifestyles Unlimited, and passive income was explained to me. It was explained how easy it is to create it. Now that you know what passive income is, you cannot unhear what I've told you, what I've described to you, right? You now know what it is. So now you have a predicament, right? You have to make a decision. You're going to ignore me. You're going to just continue doing the same old, or you're going to take action and create passive income, right? I want you to remember that the decisions you make today are what's going to dictate your tomorrow. The passive income I am receiving this year because of my real estate investments were all decisions that were made either last year, the year before that. Some of my stuff, I'm going on 6 years of ownership, some of my multifamily properties. So these are decisions and investments that were made in the past that essentially have decided how it's going today. So however your tomorrow is going to be, you need to decide today. Now, let me talk about something else. A lot of times people, the reasons they do what they do is because that's what's been taught to them their whole life. I'll give you a perfect example, right? Our parents love us, or do they? No, I say that jokingly. But let me get personal. My father was an intelligent man, and he was the long bond guy, right? That was his investment game. He would get these bonds and purchase those, and they'd pay him so much each and every year. Thank God I'm not a bond investor. But then my mom was the opposite. Of course, they divorced when I was young, but my mom was very frugal. She was a saver, right? She would purchase her company stock, purchase CDs, very conservative money market accounts. At the end of the day, my dad is an engineer, right? He's a rocket scientist. He worked for Martin Marietta, a very, very smart man. Neither of them were millionaires at the end of their days. But who do you think came out ahead? My mom did. And she made, I don't know, 20% of what my father probably earned over his lifetime, maybe less than that. But again, my dad was a very successful engineer in the space industry. He helped design the Saturn V engines. I remember living in Huntsville, Alabama, and Daytona Beach, Florida as a child. But my mom surpassed him, and she was just a frugal saver, CDs, company stock person. But here's what I want to ask myself. My father was 88, God rest his soul, incredibly gifted. I mean, degree in aeronautical engineering, 3.5 years. This was before calculators. He was a geology expert, a historian. I mean, this guy could do calculus on a napkin. How is it that my net worth is multiples greater than my father's? Is it because I'm smarter? No, not even close. Like I said, this man was brilliant, very, very smart engineer, mathematician. He could build anything. He even had a patent for a launch pad that could launch not only our missiles, but some other countries' missiles. It could accept all three. But I know I'm not smarter than him. But what was the difference? I knew how to follow directions. I knew something when I saw it within real estate investing years ago, and I began purchasing real estate assets. I started with houses. I started very slow, and I would do exactly what Lifestyles Unlimited teaches: buy the distressed property, fix it up, put a great resident in there. I would collect the rent each and every month. There was always a little extra, and then I would compound that, right? I would take the money I earned from that because I didn't need it at the time. I still had my W-2 job, and I would compound that into more and more real estate investments. And then in 2018, I started purchasing into multifamily assets, right, as a passive investor, and just kept doing that over and over and over again. But here's this man. He's an engineer. He's darn near a genius. I don't want to call him a genius, but my dad was very, very smart. But here I am. I'm just a guy that, investing in real estate, and my net worth surpassed my father's net worth many, many times over. And the difference is not that I'm smarter. The difference is that I found an effective education within Lifestyles Unlimited. It's not the money, it's the lifestyle.
The information and opinions you hear on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.